Thanks for coming, folks. Good to see a good crowd here today. I am greatly humbled to be representing University of Louisiana Ragin Cajuns. Always respected this program, respected what Coach Hudd has done, and am thoroughly excited about being the defensive coordinator here, and excited about our 2017 season. Feel like we've got some good players. We've got really good kids, and they're playing very hard, practicing very hard, have put in great effort through spring ball and the off-season program, have worked extremely hard in the summer. Our strength coach, Coach Lou Carell, has done a great job with the guys. And things that we're preaching, we want to run to the football. We want to be the #1 swarm defense in America. We define swarm by being you're either on the tackle or you're sprinting full speed to the tackle. That's our definition of swarm. And we want to be running to the football. We've got to increase our takeaways. Everywhere I've ever been the coordinator, we've always increased takeaways, and we are working every possible drill and everything we can do to increase the takeaways that we have defensively. And we want to be a great tackling football team. It's hard in 2017 in the way that we try to prevent injuries and don't go live at practice. I think we're actually going live at practice 3 times in camp. So we've got to do everything we can creatively to practice tackling, to be a great tackling football team, because it's still all about running to the football and tackling. So that's what we're going to be about. Got a good room with our defensive staff, Coach Cheese, Coach Charlie Harbison, Coach Chop, Coach LaVorne Harbin, and Coach Marcus Lovings. We've got a good room there. Everybody works together very well, throw a lot of ideas on the board, and I think you'll like what we're doing defensively. I think you got a little taste of it last year through the season as we implemented things that I've been doing over the years, 25 years as a defensive coordinator. And my mentality is to attack. We're not going to sit back and wait on anybody. We got to get tackles for losses. We got to put people behind the sticks, get them in 2nd long and 3rd and long. So we're going to be an attacking defense and getting multiple fronts, do it from a lot of different ways. You'll see us play a lot of man coverage because we've got good people in the back end with our safeties that are returning. I think we got good corners that are returning, and we've added a really good corner that was a player at the University of Tennessee through Navarro Junior College, DJ Miller. I think you'll be excited when you see DJ play. I know everybody's got questions about the linebacker position, you know, losing Otha and Trey Lightfoot, but I think that we have got great leadership out of TJ Posey. He's waited his turn. When you look back, our first year here, when we opened against Kentucky 2 years ago, TJ was a starter that game. And he's seen a lot of snaps over the years. He's waited his turn. He's ready to roll. And we have added, you know, our recruiting process has been very thorough at the linebacker position. We've added some really good players. I think you're going to like what you see from Farrad Gardner from Coffeyville Junior College, who was a player at the University of Missouri and transferred to Coffeyville. And also Braden Bailey, who young man from a California junior college. Can't miss him. He's the one with the long hair. Those guys can run. We can run at the linebacker position. And 2 young men that we recruited here my first year here, Jock Boudreaux from Holy Cross in New Orleans and Tanner Holmes from Newton High School. Those guys are coming into their own. Tanner's knee is totally healed, and those 2 guys can run and are going to be names of the future that you guys are going to hear a lot and be talking about a lot, just like you talk about Otha and Tremaine Lightfoot. Those guys are players. Up front, Taboris Lee is our leader up front. He's a banger. He's a great player and leads by example with those guys. And we've got some seniors that can pass rush now with Kayvon Perry, Jarvis Jeffries, and Trev Miller. Those guys can pass rush. They can get up the field. They got some fast twitch up front. So I think you're going to really like what you see from those guys as far as our team speed and running to the football. Questions?
Otha was very loud, shall we say. Does TJ have it in him to kind of be that guy that really brings that whole defense together? Or does he have a different personality to go about doing that?
He speaks. He doesn't speak like Otha does, like Otha did. I think the guy in our room right now that's in the defensive room that's taken that personality is Tracy Walker. The things that Otha did, stand up in front of the room and beat his chest, and those kind of, I think TJ Posey has been very, very vocal. TJ's a very intelligent young man and really knows how to press the right button at the right time. And he is vocal, but different than what Otha was.
With this being your first fall camp as a defensive coordinator, do you see the difference in, I guess, how the guys are comfortable with you from the spring and from summer, knowing your system? Do you see a difference?
I think the guys knew me pretty well as the linebacker coach, you know, last year, but then taking over as the coordinator through the season. There was a change of approach, change of mentality and things we wanted to do defensively. And I think there was a time there when I had to win their respect as a coordinator. And I think I did that. You know, we kind of turned that thing around. You know, we finished high nationally in total defense, rushing defense. After what we went through, changing everything in a week, and then adding as we went through the season. So in spring football practice, they know I'm going to be out there running to the football with them, and we're going to be running the ball. We start out every practice with swarm drills, and if they don't do it right, we're going to do it over. Because if we don't run to the football, we can't play defense. You got to run to the football. They know that's my personality, and I think they like my personality as an attack front. We're an attack front. We're blitzing. We're bringing people from all over the place. You saw that at the end of last season. We're bringing corners. We're bringing safeties. You know, the guys like that. They like to play that way. So my relationship with the players is very good, and our entire defensive staff. I think our players have a great respect for what we're doing defensively and for the staff and the way they're being taught. They're being coached very hard, but they're being loved. I'm a guy that coaches with my arm around their shoulder. I'm not going to yell and scream at them, but I'm going to put my arm around them. I'm going to get in their ear, and they're going to know exactly what I want. And I think through the season last year, people saw that. And now having spring ball under our belt and fall camp, I think we're going to take a step forward with that.
Kind of following up on that, sometimes when you go to different practices, there may be a lot of linebacker drills where things are going real fast. I noticed that you do a lot of teaching. Like it's very slow and very wanting them to know every step. How important is the teaching aspect to you when it comes to defense?
I think it's critical. You know, the way we break up our practices and we have our individual time, there's a lot of teaching. I want to be specific in our stance, specific in our alignment, specific with our steps, our eyes, all those things. And then when we move into smaller drills, whether it be middle drill run, that's when we pick up the pace with things. But, you know, I'm a teacher. We're going to teach. We're going to get them in the right place at the right time and teach them exactly how to be successful.
Coach mentioned some of the defensive linemen that are still out. How do you use this opportunity in the interim to build some additional depth?
Well, we don't have a lot of depth to build right now. You know, we've got to be very, very careful, okay? I love what Will Hall is doing offensively. I really do, and you guys are going to love what Coach Hall is doing, okay? So for me lining up across from him, I really love what we're doing. We are doing a lot of things full speed against each other, offense and defense. But we have to be very, very careful to get all 105 guys that are in camp right now. We got to be very careful to go as full speed as we can go, but to get everybody to September 2nd. So we got to be very careful with our defensive front because we're about 2 deep up there right now. Zion Hill, who we signed, local young man, we signed as a defensive tackle. He came to us in this summer and had a little knee scope issue coming out of high school. So we had to get that prepared. We were hoping he would be ready to go. He's going to be another one that's not ready to go yet. And we had those injuries in the bowl game. My gosh, I've never seen so many injuries in one football game as we had in that bowl game, and it seemed to really hit in the defensive line. So we've got some guys that we got to get back. We have to take care of Taboris Lee. We got to take care of Kevon Perry. We got to take care of Moose Johnson. We got to take care of Ladarius Kidd. Those guys, we can't get banged up at practice. We got as many live snaps as we can possibly get, but we can't get banged up because we don't have a lot of depth in there right now. But as Coach Hud said, we got depth coming. So Travis and the rehab people in the training room, do your job, baby. Get them ready to roll. and hopefully in a couple weeks we'll have that depth. Sir.
Coach, you talked about what Tracy Walker's kind of stepped into that role that Otha had as the vocal leader. But talk a little bit about his skill set and what he brings actually on the football field. He has a lot of things he can do really well. Last year, obviously, he started off in a different position. As the season progressed, you moved him back, and he really started to flourish once again in that role. Talk a little bit about what he does for you on the back end.
He's a very talented young man that can do everything that you want from a safety. He can be a high safety in the deep half or deep middle. He can come down and play man-to-man coverage. He had a couple great breaks today in man-to-man coverage. He's got the feet and hips to be played man-to-man. He's physical enough. You can put him in the box in the run game and step up and stick people. He's very good at blitzing and feeling slipping blocks. He's a total package. And excited to see what he's going to do. I think he has a nose for the ball, go after interceptions, those kind of things. You know, he should have a great year with numbers-wise as far as tackles, interceptions, pass breakups. And then starting across from him, we have Travis Crawford also. Travis has played a lot of snaps for us, got a lot of tackles. You know, when I first got here, he had the nickname Hit Stick because, I mean, he'll come up and knock you out. So we got a couple safeties that we can really depend on. We can't wear them out. Last year, and that's one thing talking about Otha and Lightfoot, there were some ball games last year where those guys played 85, 90 snaps in a game. Can't do that. I don't want to get a guy more than 55 or 60 snaps. So we've got to be able to rotate, have better depth to rotate those guys in and out. I think we've got him at linebacker, at the safety position. You know, was it the Tulane game in New Mexico State? We went back-to-back with 4 overtimes and a couple overtimes. In that 4 overtime game, we were exhausted in the fourth overtime. It was my fault for not rotating those guys early in the game. And we've got to be able to rotate those guys to have fresh legs in the fourth quarter to win those tight football games. So we've got to develop some backup guys at the safety position. Right now we got Denarius Howard, who's a senior, a junior college player from last year, but he tore his tricep in the bowl game, and he's just got released to come back. We just brought in a safety from California Junior College by the name of Koa Haynes. Koa is really stepping up in 3 days. He has got a knack. He is really good. And then Braylon Trahan is right now running in that group where he's rotating in with the twos at safety, and he's got a nose for the football, that young man, local guy. So we have got to be able to develop some depth. So in situations where we can get Tracy and Travis some rest during a football game.
With Tracy, you haven't been here the whole time for it, but from what you have seen and then just from what you've heard going back to when he was a freshman, how has he developed into what he was when he first got here to, like you said, the leader, the talker that he is now?
Well, I think he's, you know, we bounced him around to a lot of different positions when I first got here. He's played a lot of different spots, and I don't know if he was always very comfortable with that. Never said a word, never complained, hustled, did his job. I think he's more comfortable right now. So what he did as a younger player is starting to come out. What he did in high school, what he did his freshman year, I think you're starting to see him really blossom into what he naturally is at that safety position. So our players have a great respect for him. They know what he can do. He'll talk, but he'll back it up. And that's what you want. You want a guy that's going to stand up there and lead. Some guys will get up there and talk and try to lead, but they got nothing to back it up with. Tracy can back it up.
Coach, I know you're talking about the safeties you'd like to rotate. You didn't mention Jam Williams. You see him having any kind of role this year on the field, or is it going to be?
Jam is a phenomenal specimen athletically, okay? We're knocking off some rust right now as far as the game of football is concerned. I think he was an offensive player when he played football. We're trying to play him at safety. There's some things that he's got to learn about the position. That there are some, when you're playing safety and linebacker, there's some instinctual things that you would like to see guys have. And he's been out of the game for a while, and we're working really hard. And he's working really hard. He made a couple nice plays today, but we're knocking off the rust right now.
Got time for one more.
You mentioned.
Can you see the difference between as good as he was last year, what freshman Joe Dillon was compared to sophomore Joe Dillon?
Freshman Joe Dillon was a lot of the things that we did to try to emphasize his strengths as far as an outside pass rusher. You look at the numbers in the first half of the season, he had a bunch of sacks and plays. Toward the end of the season, people started doubling him, sliding the protection that way, those kind of things, his numbers dipped off. What we're trying to do is develop him now to the point where if you get double teamed, if you get the protection in your face, now make the play also. Joe is about 234 pounds right now, so he's gained weight, he's gained strength, he still looks as quick. What we've got to do, what I've got to do as a coordinator, is I've got to have somebody off that other edge that people can't always slide the protection to Joe, that they've got to worry about the guy coming off the other edge also. We really didn't have that last year. We were limited a little bit at that other position. I think we've added some guys that can bring that. I think you'll see Julius Perkins transfer from Blinn Junior College. He's a big, strong, fast guy that can come off that other edge. Corey Turner and Tariq Miller are had real great springs at that position. We have got to bring pressure from that other side as much as we bring it from Joe's side, so people can't always slide the protection to him. So those are some things that we've got to do to help Joe continue his success.
Go ahead. I was going to say, still 4-3?
We're basing out of the 4-3. Yes, sir. We're basing out of the 4-3, but when you look at the number of reps we played last year, we actually played 60.5% of the time in a three-man front. And that may be dictated by down and distance. That might be dictated by personnel groupings that the offense has given us. So we will be multiple again.
And you mentioned Will, you're going to like what you see from his offense. What do you think is going to make him so difficult to defend from a defensive coordinator?
He's got weapons. Man, you know, when we go into a football game and we want to say, okay, here's the guy we got to take away. We got to take this receiver away, this running back away. We have got weapons. Man, you can't take away one of our receivers or two of our receivers because we got about 4 or 5 of them out there that can roll. We got running backs that can roll. And what Jordan Davis has done, maturity from when I first got here till now, phenomenal, unbelievable. Different kid, different young man, grown up, taking charge, step up, talk to the team respects him. So I really like what Coach Hall is doing, and he's got a pocket full of weapons to do it with.